Often we are so embarrassed to talk about things that are really important to the quality of our lives, and feminine health is one of them. Now, I know that this topic can get very uncomfortable. Hey, I am a gynecologist and it gets uncomfortable for me sometimes. Not so much anymore, but definitely when I started out in my field and also digging in to help people with sexual health issues, intimacy, connection, and not to mention something even more terrifying for women, issues of incontinence, bladder health, bladder leakage. And let me tell you, oftentimes as a gynecologist, I'm on my way out of the exam room, hand on the door, and my patient will say, doc, I really want to talk to you about this topic. I felt ashamed or I felt shy about bringing it up. But, if it's incontinence or sex drive or libido or intimacy issues, pain with intercourse, things like that can come up during these conversations. And it is important we start talking about it, not just to your gynecologist, but to each other, to your girlfriends. Well, hello, everyone. This is Dr. Anna Cabeca. I am the girlfriend doctor. And today we have a super fabulous episode because Jova turns 4. And I'm going to talk to you about some of the bliss that comes with using Jova. And you can join our tens of thousands, actually now hundreds of thousands of people around the world that have been using Jova. And so many thousands are sharing their testimonials. So I'm going to share a little bit about that journey with you. But I'm going to start with telling you about a funny story at home. Again, we talk about how it can be very uncomfortable talking about sexual health issues. Well, come live at my house for a little while. I invite you and we will all be much more comfortable. I have some amazing daughters that are not shy to talk about anything. Well, now, with the exception of my littlest one right now. Now, Ava Marie, she is now 12, but when she was 10, I tell you, I had a funny, this is a funny story. So she was 10 and I had my 10-year-old car, my 10-year-old car sedan that I was going to be passing off to her, my Mercedes, light blue Mercedes. So I was like, okay, I can make this car last another 5 more years and be able to have that her car as her driving learning car, very safe car. And then I'll get a new car. Well, fate would not have that. And lo and behold, a 6 or 8 point buck jumped in front of my car at 4:30 a.m. on my way to the airport. I was on my way to a conference, Mindshare in California, and no one was on the road except for these deers. I saw a female deer cross the road, a doe cross the road, and I knew to look for babies. And as soon as I turned my head to look, boom, this 8 point buck jumped in front of my car, totaling my car, stopping me in my tracks. And God bless it, it went off to a better place. But I was stranded on the side of the road, car just a mess, had to get it off the middle of the road and somehow pray that I could get police help and get the buck off the middle of the road too. Well, a few cars went by. No one stopped to help. Eventually, I had called 911. A police came and they actually took me to a local airport so I could still fly out, got my car towed out, and I made that meeting. But lo and behold, I needed a new car. The car was totaled. And I started shopping for new cars and I decided to get a Volvo. And it is a, fabulous, fabulous car, the Volvo SUV. I was really happy with that. I'm like, okay, well, I'll either keep this or hand this off to my daughter in another 5 years for her driving car. And we were waiting for it to be delivered. Little did I know that Ava Marie had been praying in her school at class. They do prayer in the morning, and she'd been praying for me to get my new car. But what it turned out she was praying for was like this: Dear God, please let mama get her new vulva fast. That's exactly what she said. Dear God, I hope mama gets her new vulva today. So not Volvo, she was saying vulva. And lo and behold, she came home that day and the car was going to be delivered tomorrow. And she said at the dinner table, Mom, I can't wait for your new vulva to get here. We burst out laughing. Little did I know she'd been praying all week at school, but we burst out laughing. And my oldest daughter, Brittany, she shared with her a little anatomy lesson. And then Ava Marie said, just laughing, she goes, now I get it. Jova, vulva. Yes, she made the connection. And I'm going to let you make the connection too. The importance of Jova on the vulva, clitoris to anus, the most valuable real estate in our body, and critically important for overall quality of health. It's 60, this tube is 60, lasts for 60 days, 60 serving, pea-size amount, half ml. And then we have a 7-day travel size, which has been, we've, again, over hundreds of thousands of those have gone to women around the world. And it had, the reputation has spread. And every time I get into my Volvo and I tease Ava about this will be her car when she's 15, 16, getting her driver's license. So we have to laugh about these things. And again, it's important to talk. And again, teaching anatomy and teaching our children proper anatomy. How did Ava not get that somehow in our conversation? She certainly has heard the term vagina quite a bit, vaginal health, sexual health, and how important it is for women's health. Now, I'm going to talk a little bit about today about the importance. Women are struggling with bladder leaking issues. I was talking to an attorney the other day, and he said, you know, Dr. Anna, my wife's had 4 babies and she can't get on the rebounder anymore. She continues to leak and have these issues. And the doc says her only option is surgery. Well, let me tell you, we'll talk about that. And another client said, oh my gosh, after connecting with her soon-to-be husband, she was having recurrent urinary tract infections, and she called me asking for help. So what do I do about it? My doctor wants to put me on antibiotics daily. I don't feel that I want to do that. Another client said she'd been dealing with urgency symptoms, bladder urgency symptoms. In other words, needing to go, feeling like you just can't make it to the bathroom in time, those urgency symptoms. And certainly cyclists, athletes have struggled with dryness, horseback riders, with dryness, with tenderness, with discomfort, and not to mention, as we're getting older, loss of vaginal lubrication, a change in our vaginal pH, and that causing discomfort with sex, as well as odors after sex, discharge sometimes, and discomfort afterwards. And I always tell clients, if you have pain or discomfort every time you do something, now why would you want to? So I'm going to share a couple testimonials here that I have from clients from around the world, and it is really beautiful. And I want to hear from you. You've been using Jova for a while. It's changed your life. I want to hear from you. Please email me at my team at drannacabeca.com. And I read every one of these testimonials. So I encourage you to send these to me. So I received one from Denise. She wrote, I've been using Jova for about a month now, and I love it. I am 53 years old, and what a shocker. All of my hot flashes have stopped. I'm sleeping much better. I'm also using the Mighty Maca, and I thank God I found you. Every day I'm feeling better and better about this new phase of my life. That's fabulous. This client, Gigi, wrote, I'm a breast cancer survivor. I took the sample pack to my oncologist, and she said it would be fine to use and wouldn't hurt me. I have used it since August 2017, and it is amazing. It works just like Dr. Anna says it will. Thank you for a wonderful product, from Gigi. And Lynn wrote in, she said, Jova has helped my damaged vulva. This is my second full bottle after someone gave me a trial size. I give it a 5 stars. Jova gave me back feeling. I have been diagnosed with lichen sclerosis on my vaginal tissue, vulvar tissue, and it was so sensitive that my tissue would tear if I had to put it under pressure. Intercourse was out of the question. My GYN said the tissue was like parchment paper, which we call lichen sclerosis, like parchment paper or cigarette paper type of thinning appearance, and it does rip. She says, or tear easily, very uncomfortable. She had prescribed a heavy duty steroid and expensive estradiol cream. Eventually, the steroid contributed to my adrenal failure, she says. But with Jova, I began to experience more normal tissue in just 2 months. This has really changed my life. And a nurse wrote in, call her Ladybug. She says, Jova is a miracle product. I was diagnosed with endometriosis at 35 years old. And after using various medications, it has left me with vaginal dryness and irritation. I just turned 45 years old and continue to search for a product that would help me. So after using the 7-day trial, I immediately started to feel normal. How can a pea size of anything make me feel whole? Before I would finish my 7-day trial, I ordered a regular size tube, and I am a believer, and my husband is happy because I am happy. Words are not enough to express the gratefulness I feel. Thank you for creating a product that has made me feel complete. I'm a nurse and can't wait for the opportunity to share this finding with women just like me. And on my website, you'll see thousands of Jova testimonials. And I go through them on a regular basis and just love them. This one came in from Ellen, who's over 65 years old. And she said, I began using this product almost 1 year ago. I have urinary urgency and vaginal dryness. This cream has helped so much. Within days, the vaginal dryness has diminished. The best effect was with the urinary urgency. Within weeks, I noticed less urgency and better control. I also no longer had to get up during the night to urinate. That was an added bonus. I have continued to use the product faithfully because after a lapse in use, my symptoms returned. I highly recommend Jova. I give you 5 stars. Thank you. So many more testimonials like this, and women like you that have been struggling and and you know looking for solutions. I'm going to read one more, and this is from a woman over 55 years old, and she says, it is heaven in a tube. Previously, I was using the prescription Imvexi and disliked paying so much for something that was painful to use and ended up being more of a mess than a comfort. The very first time I used Jova, I was an absolute fan. My dryness was quenched, and I can walk again without feeling like something is tearing. And again, this is critical. Let me tell you, around here now, you know that I'm a girlfriend doctor turned rodeo mom as well. Another hat that I'm wearing, or cowboy hat that I'm wearing. But in the rodeo community, Jova has gotten the nickname as a rider's relief, rider's relief. And if you are in a saddle for any amount of time, you can feel chapped and chafed even at a young age, but certainly an issue when we get older. Way back in 2013, 14, 15, when I'd been riding again, that was one of my issues too. And I wanted something to help me. And that was part of the reason that I created Jova. So now that Jova is 4 years old and again has crossed the globe and helping women all around the world, in my blog this week, I'm updating you with recent research, even especially in women with breast cancer that have struggled with no solutions, women who have asked and begged for answers. And now there are many, many more physicians that are aware of Jova and something that is applied externally, not having to be inserted and creating mess or suppositories. Way back in 2010, I'd created a vaginal tablet to use for dryness, but that would require an extensive amount of clinical studies and additional research so that it could be FDA approved. And that's a that's a $1 million project. And a solopreneur, right? Physician, single mom, taking care of my family and my patients with all my heart. And I wanted to create something that women could use. So it took me years to create Jova. And And I'm really excited with the results that we get from it, and also that physicians are getting from all around the world, including oncologists that are recommending it to their patients. Now, that to say with a big um, emphasis is that if you have had any type of cancer, clear this with your gynecologist first, okay, or your oncologist. But in the journal, with that said, in the journal article this week, in my blog Easing This Week, which I hope you all are subscribed to, because we've got a lot of great information going out. So at dranna.com, dranna.com, make sure you've signed up for my newsletter. And look up the article that I've just published called Jova Turns 4, and about the research behind it, updated research through 2020 on the different ingredients that are in Julva, as well as safety profiles, as well as use in women who have had breast cancer, and extensive results that we found with women taking our Eve quiz assessment with it before they start using Julva, and then 1 or 2 months after they've been using Julva. And we've seen an incredible improvement, significant improvement overall in sexual intimacy, in frequency of intercourse and comfort, and just overall improvement in the way they feel. And that's really part of the beauty of it. So let me go back to those stories and tell you some of the clients that have used Julva. I want to share with you that we have a very young client at 71 years old, Kathy, who in her second marriage over the past decade, she wasn't ready to give up intimacy with her husband. She had tried hormones and a variety of treatments to address vaginal dryness and recurring urinary tract infections, which often are a byproduct of menopause, because as the vaginal pH becomes less acidic, it becomes more prone to infection, and the tissue around the urethra also is more likely to get bacteria into it and have that infection as well. And so bladder infections after intercourse can be more common. And a client of mine, Nina, at age 56, met the love of her life. And within a few weeks of um, being intimate with him, she called me and said, Dr. Anna, I'm getting recurrent urinary tract infections. I'm on my third one, and my doctor says that I need to be on antibiotics daily, and I just don't want to do that. And so I put her on a regimen. I said, well, first of all, we call that honeymoonitis because that increased intimacy also increases bacteria into the urethra. So I said there's a few things that we have to do. First of all, use Jova. We can increase it to twice a day initially, and then go back down to once a day. We want to heal the tissue, create healthy tissue as possible, improve the vaginal pH so it's more acidic, less of a host to bacterial infections or bacteria. So the more acidic the vagina, the more balanced our vaginal bacteria are. And also, we want to increase the integrity of the tissue, the healthy elasticity and condition of the pelvic floor in general. So with pelvic floor exercises, increasing our muscle contractions to the pelvic floor to increase our muscles to the pelvic floor. So pelvic floor exercises, then using Jova, increasing vitamin C to 2,000 or 4,000 units a day. So that's usually capsules are anywhere between 500 milligrams to 1,000. So check your particular favorite brand of vitamin C, and you want to get up to 2,000 to 4,000 milligrams of vitamin C a day, and a probiotic, because often we have to continue to repopulate healthy bacteria within our GI tract, which also helps vaginal pH and vaginal health and vaginal bacteria, the normal bacteria within the vagina. So, and after intercourse, urinate. Just let your body naturally flush any bacteria that could have been introduced into the urethra. So with that, she called me months later. She told me she hadn't had another urinary tract infection. Her intimacy was greatly improved. They were engaged, and they're soon to be married. And I just reflect on this story because it's really important. And, thinking about second marriages, thinking about intimacy throughout the rest of our lives. I mean, here I am, a single mom for the last decade, And I definitely want to have lived the rest of my life with my partner, my love of my life. And I want to have sex with my partner, my love of my life, right? For the rest of my life. And I want that. So keeping our pelvic floor healthy, whether we're sexually active or not, is really important. Now, Nina's situation could have been very different. She could have had continued urinary tract infections, irritations, discharge after intercourse, discomfort, and that would have led to a decrease in intimacy, a decrease in connection. And I've seen it over and over again in many relationships, that this is the unspoken silence that tends to keep people apart. I've talked to women who said, one of my clients named Maggie, who had started using Jova, she said, she loved her husband and powered through sex because it was so painful with vaginal dryness, and she'd had treatment for breast cancer. And she just said, I just power through it. And so I put her on Jova, as well as, my Mighty Maca, my keto green plan. And she just said that it has changed her life, because there's a couple things happening here. When you're having discomfort, right? Our mirror neurons, we have mirror neurons. He knows it. You don't have to speak it, but he wants your pleasure. So that discomfort is radiated onto him, and you're both going to want less and less intimacy, physical intimacy, and connection. Now, there's all emotional intimacy, relational intimacy, spiritual intimacy. We keep nourishing those aspects of our life that are just as important. But that physical intimacy, clients tell me, I was missing that in my life. One client, Nancy, she said that her and her husband were just like roommates, but with being able to follow my plan, follow my program, using Jova regularly, now they're boyfriend and girlfriend again. And that's what we want to see happen. And the same with this other client named Maggie. So with a significant amount of vaginal dryness and vulvar atrophy, just by using Jova and following the simple steps, because it's never just a pill, a potion, right? Keto green, healthy fats, improving our gut, using adrenal adaptogens like Mighty Maca Plus, using Jova to condition the skin with pelvic floor exercises to strengthen the pelvic floor. The combination is really, really powerful. And so, that just restored intimacy in their lives. And the one thing that she said that really struck me. She goes, I feel so much more confident, good about myself. I'm like fully woman yet again. And I'm not even worried about another recurrence of breast cancer. I used to worry about all the time because I just didn't feel good. I feel great now. And that is a thing of the past. I am moving forward, cancer free, and in the best relationships of my life. And so I think that's really important as we grow older, right? What do we want? We want an oxytocin filled life. We want healthy relationships. We want to continue doing the activities we love, like horseback riding, cycling, jumping on a trampoline, or rebounding, like my uh, uh, client attorney said about his wife, just that, after 4 babies, she's struggling. Julva can help with pelvic floor exercises. We have to give our body what it needs to restore. Now, I haven't even talked about the ingredients in Julva, but I do all over my website, and the ingredients are there so that you can look at that and look at the research behind it. But it includes plant stem cells from the alpine rose. Now, this alpine rose grows high in the Alps, the Swiss Alps, amidst the harsh conditions of ice and rocky terrain, cold weather, and blossoms regardless. Now, for me, that defines femininity, especially in our old age, in our second spring. Then in Japan, the word they use for menopause is konenki, which literally translate to second spring. So we breeze through menopause into our second spring. And I really like that. And especially thinking of the blossoming rose amidst the rocky terrain. And scientists have studied this stem cells and have found incredible regenerative capabilities of the stem cells. The research that I published this in my blog as well, so you can reference it. But the scientists have found that these alpine rose plant stem cells have ability to decrease fine lines and wrinkles, have antiviral capabilities, have strengthening of the tissue capabilities, and have all these things that have just been shown to just be regenerative. And I love the ingredients. I love the science. And that is one of the reasons that, or many of the reasons that I incorporated it into Julva. And I started it as one of the stem cells that I was testing out. I tested many different ones, and these work best in combination with the rest of the ingredients in my product Jova, which include DHEA. I mean, DHEA is one of our pro-hormones secreted by the adrenals and has been over the counter in the US for decades. It's a tremendous safety profile, and much of the research of Dr. Ferdinand Labrie looked at using vaginal DHEA suppositories called Intrarosa, which your physician can prescribe to you, and looked at it in helping with dyspareunia, which is painful sex, looked at it in helping and safety profiles as far as, is there a significant systemic absorption of DHEA? And that was not found, but it works at the cellular level. And so a tremendous amount of beautiful continued research out of the scientific labs that Dr. Ferdinand Labrie has studied. And really, there's so much there. And again, also research looking at vaginal DHEA and use of women with breast cancer. Until now, even vaginal estrogen was hardly prescribed for women with breast cancer, although the research for decades has shown that using vaginal estrogen with a history of breast cancer showed improved quality of life and decreased mortality. So quality of life goes a huge way, to help us enjoy living it, whether it's with intimacy, just comfort in our own body, reducing urinary tract infections. But there's a difference between estrogen and using DHEA or prescription testosterone vaginally. And the difference is that estrogen works on the mucosal layer, the first layer of the vaginal tissue, whereas DHEA, testosterone, works on the deeper layers of the vaginal floor, and that research has shown to improve function of the vagina. What we've seen in clients who use Jova with pelvic floor exercises combined is an improvement in sensation, improvement in orgasm, improvement in natural lubrication, and decrease in infections. And because when our tissue is healthier, it's healthier. I mean, we take a lot of time to care for our face, our lips, our neck, right? Our décolletage as women, our hair. We're putting a lot of time and energy into the best products and keeping our upper half in the best shape. And let me tell you, our pelvic region, clitoris to anus, that is prime real estate. That is so important for quality of life for the rest of our life. And here I mentioned that in our riding rodeo community, that Jova is being called rider's relief, not just for women, but for men too. The chafing, the discomfort, and cyclists have the same issue. And we want to be able to continue doing the activities we enjoy with who we enjoy doing them with for the rest of our lives. And so I think to close, I just want to say that oftentimes we are uncomfortable talking about these issues. Again, always you can email me with your questions, with your comments. I answer them in many different ways in my Facebook Lives, in my newsletters, in my podcast, and sometimes in the personal correspondence where I can't give you medical advice. I'm here to give you education, inspiration, and maybe a little entertainment along the way. So I hope that you enjoy this and let me know what you're dealing with, what you're experiencing, and don't hesitate to invest in yourself. And especially now with our great offer with Julva turning 4. And for first-time Julva users, we have the free trial of Julva, the 7-night trial for free, just a small amount for shipping and handling. So you try it, no worries. And of course, with even our full tube, money back guarantee, 60-day money back guarantee. I want you to try it. I want you to experience it. I want you to keep working with it. It is designed to work. It is designed to work. It is not a moisturizer. It is much more. It is the anti-aging for the pelvic floor. We want to keep that tissue as healthy and nourished and beautiful as possible for the rest of our life. So as we put our attention during this season of our life on, there's so many things that we can do that we're doing to take care of ourselves. And oftentimes there are things we're doing that work against us, that hurt us. And sometimes there's not more we need to do, there's less we need to do in order to be healthier. And also the way we think about ourselves, the way we think about our body parts, being able to talk about private, intimate issues with people we love and care about. And I know husbands and wives that haven't addressed these issues with each other. I give you permission to do that. Not that you need my permission, but I do give you permission and encourage you, because I've heard so many testimonials from clients and couples and best friends, and as they start sharing, mothers and daughters talking about these issues, about our vaginal health, our vulvar health, our sexual health, that it's opened up a tremendous amount of healing, of understanding and encouragement and connection. And I want that for you too. So how you think about yourself and how you don't think about yourself matters tremendously. What you say to yourself and about yourself matters. And what you don't say matters too. So positive thoughts, positive actions, doing what works for us and for those we love, and never, ever giving up hope, seeking answers, looking for solutions, and investing in yourself. I thank you for being part of my amazing community. And I encourage you to give Julva a try. Spread Julva to your friends, share it, share this information, and whatever you do, never give up on yourself. Thank you for being here with me, the Girlfriend Doctor. I'm sending you big love, and shamelessly, guiltlessly, no apologies. We have pulled back the curtain on all things here at the Girlfriend Doctor. So let's keep the conversation going. You name it, we're going to talk about it. And I just want to let you know I am here for you. I'm so happy to be your Girlfriend Doctor. Bye till next time.